Hey, Type Soul Warriors, are you diving into the world of holos and finding yourself a bit lost when it comes to choosing the best Arrancar weapon? Trust me, I've been there too. If you're starting out as a holo in Type Soul, figuring out which weapon to wield can feel like picking a needle out of a haystack. But don't worry, I've got you covered. Today, we're diving into the ultimate Arrancar weapon tier list, where I'll break down the best of the best to help you master the art of battle. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned player looking to level up your game, you'll find something here to sharpen your skills. Now, I have to admit, Arrancar is hands down my favorite class in Type Soul. Well, right after Quincy, of course. What makes the Arrancar so awesome? It's all about the sheer variety of weapons at your disposal. From fast and flashy blades to the big, bad, heavy hitters, there's a choice for every playstyle. But with so many options, it's easy to get overwhelmed, especially if you're just starting out. So, in this video, we'll break it all down, from top tier must-haves to the ones you might want to avoid, so you can slash through the competition with confidence. Ready to become an Arrancar legend? Let's jump right in. I'm quickly moving on to the video, and I'm ranking mythic Arrancar weapons in Type Soul. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching!
A very small portion of the audience is subscribed to the channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like these types of videos. Thanks.
The Arrancar weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ulquiorra's Katana. Alright, let's talk about some of the Arrancar weapons in Type Soul, specifically one you might want to avoid like a holo in a bad mood. I'm looking at you, Ulquiorra's Katana. Now, don't get me wrong, it has its moments. That black smoke effect during its critical ability, super cool, I'll give it that, but honestly, that's where the fun ends. It might look like you're wielding some epic weapon of darkness, but the reality? It's a bit like bringing a butter knife to a sword fight. People rave about its speed and precision, but let's be real, the hype doesn't match up. Sure, it's quick, but it's also like a sugar rush, fleeting and not really satisfying. You'd think a weapon wielded by someone as iconic as Ulquiorra would pack a serious punch, right? Not this time. If you're thinking about using it, I'd say save yourself the trouble and keep it for when you just want to look cool in a duel. Otherwise, it's better left in the dust while you go for something that doesn't just look good, but actually gets the job done. The Arrancar weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Haribel's Dagger and Baragon's Axe. Alright, so let's dive into the C tier weapons in Type Soul, specifically the Arrancar weapons that you should probably think about swapping out sooner rather than later. And hey, if you find yourself stuck with these weapons, don't worry, I'll give you the scoop on how to make the best of them while you look for something better. First up, Haribel's Dagger. Now, this little guy is a short knife, but don't let its size fool you. It can pack a punch, if used correctly. It's got a decent swing speed, some okay damage numbers, and a killer ground smashing critical move that can stun enemies pretty well. But here's the catch, like most dagger type weapons, it lacks range. You really need to be up close and personal with your opponent to get the most out of it. Think of it like this, it's perfect for a hit and run style, where you dart in with quick strikes and agility, but if you're looking for a weapon to keep enemies at bay, you might want to move on to something with a bit more reach. Now, let's talk about Baragon's Axe. This is a heavy weapon with some serious potential, but man, it can be a bit of a snooze fest. First off, the axe does come with hyper armor, which kicks in when your health drops, giving you solid defensive edge. So, if you're the type who finds themselves on the ropes often, this might buy you a little more time. And don't forget the charging attack. This bad boy can cut right through enemy defenses, causing havoc for those players who like to hide behind blocks and shields. But beyond those moments of glory, the axe can feel pretty sluggish and one-dimensional. So yeah, both of these weapons have their perks, but they're not exactly going to set the world on fire. Haribel's Dagger is all about getting in close and landing those rapid strikes, while Baragon's Axe is more of a slow and steady bruiser. If you find yourself stuck with these, use their strengths to your advantage. Quick stabs or heavy smashes. But definitely keep an eye out for something with a bit more versatility. The Arrancar weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Neutra's Scythe and Wonderweiss's Sword. Alright, let's dive deeper into some of the B tier Arrancar weapons in Type Soul. These weapons are pretty hit or miss, they've got their moments, but they're not exactly game changers. Still, with the right strategy, they can definitely hold their own. Let's talk about Neutra's Scythe and Wonderweiss's Sword and see where they stand in the mix. First up, Neutra's Scythe. This bad boy is all about power and reach. It reduces movement speed and prevents flash stepping for a bit. Super handy if you're looking to keep your enemies in place. The Scythe is a versatile weapon, great for both close and long range battles. You've got those M1 combos that are simple but effective, and the slam down execution at the end is just chef's kiss. Plus, it's one of the few weapons that can execute to a true extent, which makes it pretty unique. The only downside? The swing speed is kinda slow, so you might feel like you're stuck in molasses while swinging this thing around, but hey, if you can manage that, you've got a weapon that can sweep through crowds like nobody's business. Now, let's talk about Wonderweiss's sword. This one is for all you patient players out there, the folks who like to play the long game and wear down your opponent slowly but surely. Wonderweiss's sword is perfect for that. It's got a weak pierce, sure, but what makes it shine is the bonus damage you rack up for every continuous hit. And get this, it's the only weapon with a poke attack feature, which means you can chip away at those defensive, passive players without overcommitting. It's got some weight to its strikes, so it's pretty decent for breaking through defenses too. So, there you have it. Neutra's Scythe and Wonderweiss's sword, two weapons that sit comfortably in the B tier, but with the right approach can still pack a punch. They're not flashy and they won't win any popularity contests, but they have their charm and can be pretty effective if you know how to use them. At the end of the day, it's all about finding the weapon that fits your style, so if you like to mix things up or play it cool and steady, these might just be the ones for you. The Arrancar weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Grimmjow's Claws. Alright folks, let's dive right into it. We're talking about one of the absolute legends in the Type Soul game, Grimmjow's Claws. Now, if you've been slashing around with any old weapon, let me tell you, you're missing out big time. Grimmjow's Claws? They're the real deal, my friends. Sure, everyone loves to brag about those S tier weapons, but these claws? They are right up there in the A tier for a reason and could arguably be the best weapon in the entire game. So, what's the big deal with these claws? First off, every time you use an M1 attack, you're inflicting the bleed debuff. And no, this isn't just some minor paper cut. This bleed debuff will have your enemies wishing they brought a whole first aid kit into the battle. But that's not all. The critical ability with these bad boys sends your opponent flying. Literally. You get them airborne, and while they're taking in the sights up there, you got a few precious seconds to deal some serious damage. It's like hitting the pause button on your opponent, and trust me, that's a game changer. Now, let's talk strategy, because this is where the Grimmjow's Claws truly shine. They're insanely effective in close combat, letting you dish out rapid and absolutely devastating attacks. The combos? Oh, they're easy to pull off. You don't need to be some kind of button mashing wizard to make them work. Focus on your basic melee moves and mix in those primary and secondary Arrancar skills, and boom, you're already putting pressure on your enemies. And the air stun ability? Pure gold. Get them stunned up in the air and you have a few seconds to go absolutely wild. It's like having your own personal slow motion scene to just unleash chaos. If you want to be the best player on the server, you've got to get yourself these claws. Seriously, don't just take my word for it. Go out there, equip them, and feel the difference. Suddenly, you're not just playing, you're dominating. And honestly, isn't that what we all want? So, get your hands or claws on these and start making some noise in Type Soul. Trust me, your enemies won't know what hit them. The Arrancar weapons in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Neliel's Lance. Alright, let's dive into the absolute game changer for your Arrancar or Hollow character in Type Soul, Neliel's Lance. Now, I know what you're thinking. A lance? Really? But hear me out. This weapon is so much more than just a pointy stick. The coolest thing about Neliel's Lance is how it visually evolves with your skill tree. Imagine this. Green for Kido, red for Kendo, yellow for Medic, and blue for Speed. It's like a mood ring, but for kicking butt. Now, let's talk about its critical ability. This lance doesn't just look good, it's got the range of a sniper rifle in a melee weapon's body, and here's the kicker, it can stun enemies. That's right, you're not just poking people from afar, you're sending shockwaves down the battlefield. It's perfect for players who love to strategize and wait for that perfect moment to strike. Patience is key here, and if you've got it, Neliel's Lance will reward you handsomely. The thing is, people often sleep on this weapon because of its lower damage output, but don't let that fool you. The real strength of this lance lies in its incredible range. It's perfect for those of us who prefer a more passive playstyle. You know, hanging back, waiting for your chance, and then Bam! Striking when the time is just right. Trust me, if you like playing it smart, Nelio's lance will become your best friend. So, if you're looking for a weapon that's versatile, unique, and just plain fun, give Nelio's lance a try. Not only does it change color based on your skills, but it also opens up a whole new way to play. It's the hidden gem of Type Soul's arsenal that more people should know about. Go ahead, give it a spin, and you might just find it's exactly what your Arrancar needs to dominate the battlefield. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.